you very much for having me. I noticed that the MMA logo looks very much like a fighter jet flying. It's very relevant for today. But I'll stick to my brief and talk about streaming. I think in the introduction it was pointed out that AVOD, or ad-supported video on demand, is now effectively just basically the core consumption medium in Indian media for the masses. And I'll talk a little bit about what I think is happening in the industry and of course what we're doing at Amazon MX. So just to reiterate that point, the largest amount of time spent on the internet today in India is on streaming. 83% of activity that is taken on the internet today, 83% of users today stream some kind of audio or video on the internet, and the bulk of this is video streaming. And as you can see, this is not just a phenomenon in the top 10 or 20 towns. This goes deep into the market, where more than 50% is actually coming in from rural. So obviously, as you see, a bunch of these categories, they go further down in their ranking, where online learning is about 3%, communication at 75%, but streaming is at nearly 85%. So very much the number one activity in India. With all this activity, this makes it the number one method for all of you to be able to access these audiences. For any brand to talk about their product or service to different audiences, streaming is now the mainstream. I think for many years, we've been talking at many forums about streaming becoming the mainstream from TV. I think we can now officially say that, I think that has happened. And you've seen that when ads on streaming video are far more effective than user-generated video or television. So in the case of multiple mind measures here with user-generated video, you're seeing that measures like recall, brand recognition, etc. on streaming video are far superior than they are on UGC. They also drive the long-term best ROI. So if you see a whole bunch of different potential media available in the market, obviously TV, print, radio, outdoor, etc., all of them have their place in the sun. But as you can see, streaming video, which we differentiate from digital video, which is UGC, actually has the largest long-term ROI across multiple mind measures. Some of them I talked about in the last slide. But the point here is that whether it is recall, whether it is generating awareness, whether it is brand recognition, whether it's uplift, anything you think about, streaming is what is providing the actual ROI that is happening. And as I said to begin this conversation, this is where TV and digital are now, from a consumption perspective, digital has already overtaken. But from a spend perspective, I think marketers are now starting to move the money faster than ever before to actually television. And if you look at a total digital video ad spends, by possibly as early as next year, they will overtake television ad spends. That's a very, very big moment. It's happened in pretty much every other major market in the world, but it's taken some time to happen in India. But by as early as next year, digital video ads across all the various kinds of video platforms we have will overtake television. So what are we doing about it? At Amazon MX, we have a very simple proposition of high quality premium entertainment available for free. And we believe this is a very important distinction because there are many free alternatives that don't have premium entertainment, and there are many premium alternatives that are not free. So I think we think that the magic formula, so to speak, is to combine those two, and we are backed by Amazon's trust and safety, and we are available across all of Amazon's platforms. So the three pillars that we build our business on are differentiated reach, differentiated content, and differentiated ad solutions. Let me talk a little bit more about all of these. We have nearly 1.5 billion downloads on the MX app. That makes it one of the largest apps of any kind anywhere in the world, actually, but certainly the largest downloaded app anywhere out of India. We have 250 million monthly active users. who various brands can engage with in different ways as they consume our content. And more than 50% of them are SECA. We are also, as I said earlier, available across all Amazon surfaces. So our content is available not just on the MX apps, which are our mobile and connected TV apps, but also on the Amazon Shopping app, on Amazon Fire TV, and on Amazon Prime Video, which obviously represents some of the a large portion of the top 20 million households in India. So the content goes not just across a mass reach of 250 million, but also hits the top of that funnel as well. What is that content? This is what India likes. Indians love drama. We, of course, have content across the board, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But I think the clarity is that this is what Indians like to watch. And I think this is because, for a lot of reasons, television in India for many years stuck to a particular kind of content because of various reasons. That's a conversation for a longer session. But OTT, the emergence of OTT actually led to an explosion of genres. So now even if you look at other genres, romance and comedy, etc., they're still pretty big. Documentaries are a genre that didn't exist on mainstream Indian television for the longest time and are now becoming very popular online. We address this market with a very diverse offering of drama, romance, comedy, reality. We are effectively, as I said, premium free entertainment. So our model is to provide to the user not what one TV channel did, but what TV network provided. So it's blockbuster tentpole dramas, shows like Ashram, which is the most watched show of any OTT in the market. I think one of the most watched shows in the world probably at this point of time. To upcoming series like Made in India. The first very interesting concept we have about telling stories of great Indian entrepreneurs. The first chapter of this is Titan, which we'll be talking about later this year. We have reality. We are one of the largest purveyors of reality content on any video service in India. So we've got, as of today, running Battleground and Hip Hop India, two very interesting shows. Hip Hop India is a dance show, as you can imagine. Battleground is about captive reality. And we've got our flagship reality show this year called Rise and Fall, hosted by Ashneer Grover, that's coming out towards the end of the year. And then, of course, we've got a category called Videsi, which is our long-format international content, which is Korean, Mandarin, and Turkish dubbed content that does extremely well with our audiences. And we have the largest collection of this in the country. And the way we choose this content is a very deep insight into what customers want from their lives. So it's not just about, hey, this story is good or not, but what does this do to a customer? And this is very important. When you talk about high ROI on streaming, it's because people are immersed in the content. So when someone is immersed in something, the recall of whatever ad you're seeing is high, as opposed to when you're just flipping through, a social media app where your attention is in 4 different places. Here you are immersed in, and the reason you are immersed in is we do this research and create content based around themes we know people want to consume. We are the leader in launching the number of originals. We are going to be we launched 37 originals in 2024 and 100 new shows in 2025. That is, heads and shoulders above pretty much anyone else in the market. And like I said, this is original content designed for Indian audiences or chosen particularly for Indian audiences so that they are immersed and engaged with this content. In addition to all of this content, we talked a little bit about this at our event Stream Next in January, but we'd like to sort of reiterate our launch of Fatafat, which is micro dramas. As you guys probably all know, this is in a very exciting emerging new category of 1-minute episodes that has become really popular in many markets. And you've seen a few examples of that pop up in India as well. But MX Fatafat is coming soon, so watch out for that one. And again, content created or chosen for being deeply immersive, engaged. So when people watch, there are opportunities for brands to participate in an engaged manner. I've talked a little bit about being immersed. Let's talk about actually what brands can do. The number one difference that we can provide with our differentiated reach and differentiated content. So we've got a large reach, wide reach. We've got immersive content, the content that people want to watch. And the third main pillar is we are able to leverage trillions of shopping signals to create relevant audiences for brands, right? And this just gives you some example of like the kinds of signals that are used to create the personas that we have. And these are some of the sample personas, right? And we have hundreds of these. Just to give you some sense, things like beauty enthusiasts or fashion forward or tech savvy premium phone users. These are actually personas we have developed with very high confidence with the signals that we have, that we can to indicate existing or potential buyers for your brands to be able to come and access this. And I think the big shift that is happening is that the traditional way of buying media has been, okay, I have a particular product or a service. I have an idea, a relatively good idea, obviously, of who my customer is. So I'm going to go and create a media plan to go after a particular kind of person who I believe is a high potential buyer for my product. We can just tell you that. If you want to sell, you want to sell an item to, as we said, the example over here is health-conscious young parents. We can tell you health-conscious young parents, right? Whether they are male, female, in Delhi or Mumbai, what they're watching, etc., etc. We are able to tell you this. So the way that we want to work with partners and with brands and agencies and everybody else is saying, listen, we are here to provide you a high ROI way of getting your product or service to your ideal customer. And we are able to do that better than anybody else. So I think this is a really, really big change that is starting to emerge, and we're seeing great examples of this, because when we've actually implemented this for partners, we have seen big changes in things like click-through rates, in brand lift studies. So there are very meaningful upside in being able to invest in these audiences that allow brands to be able to create better ROI for the money that they spend. On top of audience targeting, we also have immersive ads. So just to give you two examples, if you're what we call an endemic brand, if you're a brand that sells on Amazon, while the customer is watching the ad on MX or any other surface that MX content is available on, your product can actually come straight below it. So for the user who's interested in your product, not only can he watch your ad, but he can actually browse through what we call the detail page, and go through the specific details of the content that you have obviously uploaded to Amazon. And the second thing we're doing is we're actually able to create more immersive ads. So just as one of the examples up there, you have the product out there which is promoting vitamin C as the key ingredient of that product. And we are able to work with you to extract whatever that key exciting ingredient or that key USP or differentiator of your product is, and surface it to the customer. So whether you go to an Amazon page view, whether you get linked out to a third-party site, if you're not on Amazon, whether you have a key USP that you want to promote, we have a whole bunch of innovative ad formats on top of targeting that we are able to provide you. In addition to this, as I talked about the content, I talked particularly about reality. We are also able to provide you integrations with content. And this is the big important differentiator with having premium free content, right? We are able to create experiences like I said, you've got a bunch of examples on there with Hip Hop India, our current show, where we are actually able to create and integrate your brand into stories, reality and fiction. And again, these are because the customer is immersed in what they are watching. The relevance of your product is significantly more enhanced in that customer's mind. So it's a very large set of solutions that we believe provide high ROI. That is our sort of raison d'etre of how we create all our ad solutions and what we want to provide our customers. And this is something that only Amazon can bring to the table. Between MX, Prime Video, DSP, Amazon DSP, which is now available to all partners, to be able to use that to target these audiences across us, across any other Amazon property. Use video for generating awareness, use remarketing for generating consideration. If you're an Amazon brand, creating purchase right there on Amazon. So huge reach, integrated storytelling, unique ad technology that allows targeting, immersion, innovation, and a full funnel experience, in our view, creates much better ROI for our brands. Thank you very much. And as we always say at Amazon, it's still day one.